Hey, Mar.
Andrew!
What's going on? You get divorced again, I heard?
Yeah, I did.
Want to talk about it?
Yeah, I do.
All right, ready?
Here we go.
Welcome.
I like that intro.
No,
Thank
you. Never.
After.
God.
It's fun, right? Yeah.
I know, but that's why it's funny.
Oh, welcome to the Happy Never After podcast where we have an intro. God, welcome, Andrew. This is different this week because normally we have just us talk for 20 minutes and then we bring the guest on, but this is basically family, right? Davidoff's here with us.
Right. Well, but if you guys want to talk for a little bit, we can do that.
I don't want to talk to him.
Okay.
I've seen Andrew all
Can
day
I talk?
long.
All right. Can I talk? Give him a nice intro. No, this is a great comedian.
Oh,
has
yeah,
a new
sorry.
book out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's true. Yeah, no. It's called Road Dog.
Road Dog.
Yes, it's
A
actually very
memoir. Yeah, it's good.
good. It's,
People like it.
It's not out yet.
It'll be out on October 31st.
October 31st, as will this podcast.
There you go.
We're excited. The book is about your life on the road, correct? And
Well, it's a memoir, right? So it's just sort of, reflections and experiences. It's a memoir, and the conceit or like the framework is from the road, which is where it took place from. So sitting alone in rooms, staring at walls,
Sitting alone, being with people, having different experiences.
Yeah, everything, right?
Yes.
I mean, I guess the difference about the road is you think about it like it's a bit more lonely than general life because you are actually alone, and then you're in a room full of people, but you don't have your general life people around you, and so that for me it kind of what do they call that? The associations with that are of a kind of lone journey, walking through a tunnel, experiencing these things.
you're just trying to fill your day all day, though, right? Like you got to.
Yeah, I mean it
And you have
can
the-
be right, but you're. The critical component is that it can be a very reflective place to walk around alone in a foreign area or whatever, I don't know. Just trying to figure out shit.
Do you have any regrets?
God, you mean life in general? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, wait, I said yeah too quick. No, regrets.
Regrets for being on the road, or just in general?
I guess from the book. Do you have anything from the book that you regret?
Oh, that I wrote down in the book that I regret?
Yes.
No.
Good. Awesome. I like
No.
it. I think about that too. I don't think I have any regrets. I've done a lot of crazy
In
shit. Do you?
life?
Yeah, in life. Do you?
I have so many regrets.
You do?
Wait, how are we defining? I find
Yeah.
we do this a lot as people. How are we defining regret?
Thing that I wish that I didn't experience or I didn't do. I didn't choose to go down that path. I wish I would
Don't we
not
all have things that we wish we didn't experience?
I guess
No?
you can.
Or I guess if you view
mean, my
it from
own
the idea of
choice.
always having learned from it, then perhaps we don't regret it. People say, that made me who I am thing. But I don't know. I feel like, would I be a better, nicer person if I hadn't had to deal with all that bullshit? I just left therapy where he said, I'm being paternalistic and I'm attacking her. I didn't even realize I was attacking her. My wife, that is. Sorry for the listeners at home.
And his wife is here with us. Hi,
Yeah.
Jessica.
Say hi, Jess. Hello.
You let her talk.
I think we all felt the passive aggression in that.
So you just had couples therapy. You just came from it.
Yeah.
And how long have you been going there?
How long have you been
Hello,
married?
Jess. We've been married about 15 months, 16 months. Couples therapy for about 3-4 months.
What?
Yeah.
It's been much longer than that.
Okay, 6 months. I don't know. It feels like
Who's
forever.
attacking who here?
Yeah. Now we have it on audio. Yeah, but I don't know. All that stuff like regret or I don't know. I mean, I feel like I was pretty surprised that he saw me that way. It's funny like how other people can experience. And I'd been in therapy before with other people, and I hadn't heard this perspective, that
You went to couples
specifically.
therapy with other people?
Yeah, we had a couple of months worth of sessions with my last psychologist, but he was a more sort of assertive person, and so I don't think he didn't call me out on certain behaviors in the same way. Whereas this guy feels not like that. He feels more aligned with who Jessica is in terms of her personality, and I feel like. I don't know.
They're teaming up against you.
No, I don't think I'm not conspiratorial about it, but I definitely am. To hear that about myself was not easy. Mm-hmm. I don't see myself that way, but maybe I'm shitty that way. I don't know.
I used to fuck only married dudes, and my therapist was like,
Right.
it's you. I was like, oh, it's
Well, no,
me.
but that's definitely, yeah, but that's more obvious, right? I mean, because if it would be nuanced if you didn't know they were married and then you kept finding out they were married. And
No,
then
they
you're
would
trying
come
to
up to me.
understand.
I mean, you've seen it. They would come up to
Yeah.
me, and then I would find out later. Oh, you're married.
Oh.
And then you'd fuck them more.
I definitely still.
Right, but
that
it's-
didn't dissuade me.
Right, but then it's your responsibility to find out if they're married.
Yes.
Right? Like you could ask some questions. If they lie to you, then it's on them.
Right.
But otherwise, like if we're not
Still my
talking
fault.
about it, yeah. Did they have any wedding rings?
No.
No, okay.
What was like an example of him being able to call you out on that? Like, was that a conversation you guys were having, or how you were acting in the room, or was it something that you discussed that happened at home? And then he's like, "Well, that's
I
paternal."
think like we would have Jessica would like assert herself in some opinionated way, and the opinion was wrong. And I was like, could you not be a bit more rigorous in terms of your thought process before you begin arguing an opinion? Like, and it's not that he was saying that what I was saying was wrong. He's like, the way I'm going about it isn't treating her respectfully enough. But I didn't hear that. Is that? But do you think that's what was being communicated in the room?
Yeah.
I tell you, this is
Because
some
are you-
podcast guest. You,
are
you got
you-
to dig a word out of her. Then there's a long space before she speaks. You think something's coming up, and then half a word comes out. Of course, I got a little aggressive. I would never. Nothing would get said between us.
But then I also think that there is a part, because Dove is so assertive and whatever. And
You mean direct?
Direct and
Yeah.
assertive and whatever.
Okay.
I think that sometimes I like accidentally assert myself in the wrong areas. And he's like, what are you doing right now?
Well, the example I used, which was funny because I think Jessica, comes from. Sorry for those of you listening. Jessica comes from a very dysfunctional environment, and probably we all do in some level. But hers was particularly sort of alcoholic-ish dysfunctional. And so she would assert herself in these ways. It wouldn't be direct. It would be like from the side, and I didn't understand what was going on. So one time I was going in to do a gig. We were on the road. And so I thought she wanted to come into the room.
This was
But I knew
years
there was
ago.
enough. Right, this was years ago. But it's a good example of how extreme it can be. I said, you can go to the bathroom now if you want. Because I thought she was going to come in with me, but I knew we had enough time. She goes, I know I can go to the bathroom. And what she was doing was asserting the idea that she can do potty on her own, which I thought was assumed already. I thought we both understood that she's perfectly able to do bathroom things on her own. But she felt the need to tell me that, and I said, oh, wow, she's coming from another place. Like there's a...
Well, you guys both come from different backgrounds.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
she comes from an alcoholic abusive background. You
Yes.
come from
Very scattered.
Can we go over that a little bit?
Yeah. And I think, anybody who feels the need to write a memoir probably had some jammed up in many different ways. But, my father was an uneducated Jewish business guy from the Bronx who ran a junkyard in Jersey. And my mother was a hippie, intellectual wasp who had been wrapped up in a cult with an apocalyptic objective, meaning that they were going to be saved from the apocalypse. But everybody was convinced it was coming. They grew their own food, and it was called The Land. It was 4 hours north of
How
New York
much has
City.
she changed?
And my father met my mother. This is critical too. My father met my mother because those two people never would have found themselves in the same place at the same time. My mother met my father because she's from California. She was on her way to India to teach piano, but stopped off to visit her lesbian friend in Jersey who owned a monkey. That monkey owner. The monkey owner was renting a shitty little, shack from my father in this working class, part of Jersey. And so, that's where monkeys and lesbians lived.
So your mom comes in from California. Your dad sees her in the shack.
Yeah, how did they?
What's
It was
that?
like either
Like, how
her
did
or the
this
monkey.
happen?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he stopped by to collect rent. The monkey didn't have it. And then the woman was like, hey, meet my friend. It's a distraction. I don't know how they met specifically. It's a good question. I should ask.
I've never asked that of
I
your
think
mother.
she was wandering around outside of this shitty old house. And my father was swinging by or something.
How old were they?
She was late 20s. He was early
Your
30s.
mom talks to everyone, though. I mean,
Right.
just
she
just
does.
starts talking.
Yeah.
But late 20s, early 30s. I mean, that's already they're
She
adults
was-
at this point.
Yeah,
I
she
mean,
was mid 20s, and
Yeah.
it's not like these were teenagers. No, these were adults. My mother had me when she was 27. They met a year before that, 2 years before that. So yeah,
And they got married.
They got married. They were married for 2 years and then continued.
Two?
Yeah, only 2 years. And then
But they
continued to live
resided
in
in the same home.
Yeah, for the following 10 years on different floors of the house. There's an apartment upstairs.
That's worse than your
Downstairs.
bar mitzvah.
Yeah, my bar mitzvah. My parents pretended to still be married for
What
for the
song did
charade.
they sing?
I Got You, Babe. They sang together.
Together.
Yeah, that was
No.
nice. That was a good memory. Yeah, yeah.
That's psychotic.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
They pretended to be married for other people because you knew they had been divorced. They were pretending for the other people.
They were pretending for the other people
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Why?
to make it easier.
But
I don't know.
inevitably, at some point, everybody would know they would have gotten divorced.
Yeah.
So they had to, but in order to pull off the karaoke, they decided to pretend
They were
that they
huge
were married.
karaoke heads. You know, they've been doing this duet for 4 years, and
They
they're
had a
like,
meetup
I'm not
group.
gonna,
Yeah.
they have to wait another 6 for my other brother to get bar mitzvah. So they're like, we got to do this now.
Yeah.
It's all for the duet.
Listen,
It's all for the duet.
But yeah, I mean,
we're all reeling from the effects of our parents' decisions, just in different, I don't know.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if we're trying to have a kid now, we just got back from the IVF thing. It's like, I hope to fuck the kid up less. That's all we can hope for.
Yeah.
It's just fuck up less than the people we saw fucking up in some psychological way.
This IVF situation is a process also. Yes?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's an involved process.
Yes.
It is insane.
Probably boring for the listener, but it's an involved process.
Well, it's very emotional. My friend Shauna, she donates eggs, and so she does the process every time, and she is a weepy mess. And
She
she's-
donates eggs. Meaning
Yes.
they have to go and retrieve the eggs from her?
Correct, yeah. So she does the whole process for nothing.
Which I'm about to start. The
Yeah.
whole
Right, but this
hormonal
woman
thing.
does it for kicks.
$32,000.
For $32,000
each time.
each time. Gotcha.
Yes.
She puts her egg in you.
It's a tremendous amount of
What-
work.
what is it?
She just earned her money.
What happens? What happens with the egg?
That you
Easy,
have
we're
to-
married. Whoa, Andrew. I didn't realize this was a podcast / swing club.
Get the stirrups.
Yeah, no, this ain't that kind of dance, my friend. Yeah, that's what they do. They blow up her ovaries with these drugs and then pull an egg out. I mean, with more.
Several eggs.
My bad. I apologize.
So then what? So
Not
then they
adding
could.
them.
See,
take
that
more
was
than
a,
one
that
egg.
was a weird
then-
assertion. Several
Yeah,
eggs.
she got mad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
more
then
than
what
one
do they
egg.
do?
And then they fertilize. You guys are going to fertilize, yes? And then implant?
Petri dish. Yeah.
Yes.
They take one. They literally take a
Oh,
sperm,
okay.
throw it in the bowl, throw the
Gotcha.
egg in. But, obviously more
And then put it back
skillfully
in
done
me
than
and
I'm
hope it
saying.
sticks.
Yeah, that was
Oh, that's what
Sexy.
happened. Then they throw it back in you.
delightful
Yeah.
phrasing.
So they get it going and then they put it
Yeah.
back in. Wow.
Exactly.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
And then you just have to jerk off in a
In a
hospital,
cup.
just in a cup.
Yep.
Yeah, I do.
Have you ever done that before?
Twice.
Twice.
Oh, how's that experience?
It was great, but I snuck into the hospital, so no. Can you imagine? No, I went for a sperm analysis, so you have to jerk off into a cup. So that's you go in. I have pictures of it. You just go into this chair with a wee wee pad on it in case you spill any. It's
wee-wee
horrible.
pad?
Very. It's
Like you're a
it's the
pit bull?
least romantic operation you could imagine. No, it's like a hospital-looking chair, and you sit down, and there's a wee pad, and then they have a little cup on it. You sit down. The room is brightly lit. It's the size of a closet. And they have like some tiny television on the wall, but I just used the high society. It was like,
Is that a porn high society? Like a porn mag?
oh no, it's a society magazine where they sell teacups and things. Yes, it's a porn magazine. High society? You mean like
Well,
British
you're a bodega-
aristocracy?
you're a
Do you mean
bodega boy.
aristocracy? Yeah, exactly.
I didn't think you'd be high society.
No, I'm
on
not
that.
turned on by women, you understand. For me, it's architecture.
That's a
I'll
nice
jerk off
artwork.
all over. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What? So he didn't use. So there's a little TV though, like a VHS kind of thing.
No, I didn't do this in 1978. I did this. No, they had like a TV on the wall that
Yeah.
just played some porn, and there was a clicker, but you couldn't.
You don't want to touch that clicker.
Yeah, I didn't want to rope through the magazine.
Oh,
either.
yeah. Your phone. Use your
Either way.
phone. Use your phone. You can look at porn on your phone.
It's not the same.
do it all the time.
I get heated up on a magazine. I grew up with magazines, so I
Yeah.
get heated. Yeah.
I used to put the pussy as close to my face as possible
From the
with the
mag?
magazine, and then I'd like kiss, like I'd like get in, and I put my dick in it.
Yeah, it's called the old scratch and sniff fallacy. A lot of serial killers had that as well. A lot of people.
Really?
No.
I'm very gullible. I found
Classic
out.
psychological principle.
I think when Dove talks, I'm like, yeah. Like,
No.
you have a very like
No, but
paternal way of.
No, but yeah, exactly.
I do feel attacked.
Yeah. Did your parents not tell you that at your bar mitzvah? I'm your father.
they were singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, but I think high society, which is an ironic name for them.
So your sperms can swim. then.
No.
Yes, but not. It's unbelievable. At every turn. Ooh.
I love the no or yes. It's great.
Of the motility scale goes from 1 to 50. I'm at 40. So they can
Oh, so
swim.
that's good.
They're just not powerful. Oh,
That's
no,
a
I'm
B.
sorry. I didn't explain this well.
No,
No, you're right.
no,
If it went from 1 to 80, I don't know what the top of the scale is. They like to see it at 50.
At least 50 to get somebody knocked
They like
up.
to see, at around 50. I'm at 40.
Okay, so that's a B.
So they're just in there thinking.
Oh,
They're
Yeah, I
not
think it's
moving.
worse than a B.
Okay.
And he only has 8 million. He's supposed to have 20.
They like to
million
see 20 million. I have 8 million.
to get somebody pregnant.
Why do you think it's lower through just
They don't know. Some of it's just genetic. It's just that's the shakes. I got a rough. I don't know. I was just born.
Oh,
with
so
it.
you're
I was
born
just
with you're born with
Yeah,
like
there's-
Maybelline. Yeah, you're just
Yeah, but there's not necessarily. And I asked the doctor. I was really curious. I was like, "Is it something congenital? Was it inherited?" She's like, "No. Most of the time, you were just for the same reason. I don't know."
By the way, you would think 8 million is enough. You know what I mean?
You only need
I
one.
had a joke about it. I said,
okay.
I literally. I said, "Is there anything else in your life where 8 million wouldn't be enough? 8 million of something wouldn't be enough. Totally."
What is
Yeah.
the point in that
I mean,
whole
with
like
taxes,
boxer
I mean-
Yeah,
shorts
exactly.
and everything? All that talk
Well,
about
Mountain
Doctor
Dew, all
said
that
that
shit.
can influence
Mountain
it.
Dew.
Yeah, I didn't hear about
Well,
that.
I know Mountain Dew lowers your sperm count. I don't know. It's something I guess they told.
Yeah, but I think it's a relatively minimal effect. To really drastically lower it, if you're a hardcore drug addict, things like that, that really diminish your whatever whatever sort of component or chemical biological aspect to the machinery inside of you, you can damage through hardcore shit. But it's not just cell phone or just this or just that. Most of it's just genetics.
You're not just sitting there with your cell phone. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I should stop jerking off on my cell phone.
Yeah. No,
I probably have 4. I'm
They haven't
guessing
proven.
just 4.
So are your
4
parents
strong.
are your parents still together?
Oh God, can you imagine? No, my father died of AIDS, and then when I was like 21, and then my mother's never remarried.
When they were sleeping on different floors,
Yeah.
what was that like as a kid? I mean, when
I
did
don't
you
remember
start
feeling
realizing
like
that?
anything? I didn't. I was 2 years old when I started, so that's just the way I.
But you
grew
said
up,
it went
so-
till you
the
were
norm.
10, right? So when
Oh
did
yeah,
you,
they
when,
kept living in the same house on 2 separate floors.
So when did it hit you? My parents are different than other parents.
Oh, wow. Yeah, early on, I said that I got some problems on my hands here. Yeah, pretty early on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty wild, chaotic environment. I grew up in across the street from a junkyard. My mother was wrapped up in the commune. I realized real early on that I couldn't possibly communicate with people, and I had to hide things, and there was shame, and it was a rough environment, real
Like, what did
working
you have to
class
hide?
Jersey.
Oh,
No, go ahead, Sudie.
Go ahead.
thanks, guys. When,
Sorry.
at what age did you find out your father was with other men?
Whoa.
I was curious when you found
That's
out.
chapter 6.
Yeah. Yeah, it's up
Like
there.
what age you were though?
I don't know. The first inkling was, I don't know. I remember somebody saying something. I think my mother said something like when I was in my teens. And that was really, if you grew up where I grew up, I mean, if you were gay, you may, like, it was the worst thing you could, like, in Jersey, in a
Yeah, it
fucking
was like in
junkyard.
Jersey.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And anyway, so yeah, it was a weird kind of thing.
Especially your dad is this junkyard owner, like
Oh yeah, my
tough
father's like
guy,
the boss
like,
of blue collar guys. Yeah, there was nothing obvious, like nobody would have ever known. Yeah, that kind of thing.
How did you find out?
My mother, I think, said something, and then I was watching his behavior. But he did get remarried, so he wasn't full gay.
To a woman?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He got remarried. And
What?
so yeah.
Yeah.
And then moved
so-
to the 3rd floor?
And oh no, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then and then his second wife lived on the 4th floor.
Yeah,
We lived in a 32-story building, and I had 14 pounds.
That's why you hate views.
Yeah, exactly. Jessica does. I
Yeah,
know.
Jessica. Yeah. I like calling back to a couch that no one was there for
No
that
one was
conversation.
Yeah, great
Yeah,
call back,
bodega
Andrew.
boy.
No, everybody's going to get
Bodega
that.
boy. You missed it.
Yeah, no, it was all traumatic. I mean, it's PTSD level shit at this point. I mean, when you look back.
Do you still talk to her?
The
Your
woman,
stepmom?
no, never dug her, never had a lot of respect for her. But I can see now she comes from a really broken place, and just fucked up environment. They were all fucked up people. I mean, we lived in the kind of environment where I had a dirt driveway, and then across the street from that was the junkyard. And then if you went up the junkyard dirt driveway past the guard dogs, my grandfather lived in the house on the left in the junkyard. So there's literally cars and tires and motors surrounding him. And then the guys that worked for him were all felons. Most of the people I grew up with, nobody had ever been to school. And so there were a lot of relatively illiterate people, just functional illiteracy. And then they broke into my grandparents' house and smashed their heads in with hammers. And so it looked like a ritual murder environment. So they had plates in their heads.
Your grandparents?
Yeah, they had plates in their heads. And so this was right up across the street from my place. And so it was a kind of environment there was legitimate fear. You had to worry about what kinds of people. They were all felons that worked there. A lot of the guys had a felony. And some violent felony. It was a junkyard.
Did you have kids that you grew up around at all?
Not many. There were kids up the street, that come from a working class environment where people.
So how was school
nobody
for
gets
you?
I was horrible early on, but then I developed a kind of an armor. Like I went from people didn't want to talk to me, and I walked in with dirt on my shoes, and people were really mean to me.
You were a bit chubby.
Yeah, I was a chubby kid. People were really mean to me. And then when I was my wife's great, right? Because she'll point out.
By the way, she said you had a pineapple head, but you were chubby as a kid.
Right, pineapple head, chubby, called me bodega boy, and then, yeah.
I can see.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just recreating your childhood. With
No,
her.
it's great. Everything's great. Everything's working out. And then you'll just hear in the middle of shrimp cock. They're just these little things that chip away at somebody's self-esteem. Yeah. Flaccid boy.
Knees are
That's
weird.
my little self-esteem buffer over there. That's my girl.
I'm just
she's got my
fine-tuning the
back.
story.
No, totally appreciate it.
So you were fat.
That's tremendous. Yeah. Glad I came here. Guys, does that window open so that when we're done with the podcast, I can leap out of it and kill myself? No. And then in high school,
wasn't
everything.
fat?
Yeah. And then in high
wasn't.
school, everything changed. It became the opposite. So it was a weird thing. I sort of ran. I became really wild and a little bit violent. And so people stopped doing things.
God
and then
came with you?
Yeah. And then I ended up with my girlfriend in high school was voted like best looking. Like it was a weird thing. I went from this person, but I was voted teacher's terror, which is essentially sort of class clown, which is and then I was thrown out of high school for lighting explosives and stuff. And so no, really,
Did you really?
Yeah, doing M&As, throwing in. Yeah.
In the bathroom.
Yeah, and so it was a very strange. It was extreme. It was very extreme.
Well, you were acting out, obviously.
Yeah, my best friend was a Puerto Rican kid who grew up in Harlem. His mother was strangled to death in a hallway in a drug deal. I used to stay with his family from the time I was 13, 14, 15. And it was a very chaotic environment.
Nice little Jewish boy.
No, my mother's a wasp.
I know.
Yeah.
And
my father ran people in a junkyard. I mean, there's nothing nice, fucking campy about it. Totally different environment.
Wow.
My
Very
grandfather
hippie.
came from the Lower East Side when they had Jews for killers down there, and so he came from criminals and
How
icy
was it at
operation.
home, though, when you were dealing with that? When you got kicked out of school, was anyone there to reprimand you, or was everyone kind of doing their
I
own
moved into
shit?
Manhattan when I was 17 with
Oh,
my
you
Puerto
did?
Rican friend. Yeah, no, my parents were gone by the time I was 15, so they lived in different houses, and then I stayed in the same house, and so it was just chaotic shit. My mother was anti-establishment to the degree that she didn't believe in institutional education, so I didn't even grow up with the sense that those things were important.
Yeah.
That literally staying in school or having form.
Did you end
But
up?
she's very educated.
Oh yeah, she went to
She's a
Columbia, got her
psychoanalyst.
master's. She's an analyst, but and then went for 7 years to the Analytic Institute. But that didn't happen until after I grew up. She went back to school when I was around my teens, so I was already baked into this environment, and in life, right? Our environment, our parents raised us till we're 5 or 6 years old, and after that, the environment plays a huge part in what you look up to, what you internalize. And, the people that I was around were, it's profoundly uneducated, unhealthy.
And how did you
straight
get
blue
educated?
collar.
Like, what
I
made
never
that
did
decision?
formally.
Yeah.
I was curious because I grew up, my mother was curious and intellectual, but that was the only influence I had experienced. But I knew I was very different when I got into Manhattan early on, acting class, things like that. Then one of my close friends was, top of his class at Princeton. I got curious, and I was always curious about reading and figuring things out. And that's how. And after that, once you realize that learning things is important, then you can start to educate yourself if you're curious enough and driven enough. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen.
And you started stand-up then when you
Yeah,
moved?
21, first time I
21.
did it. Yeah. I was working on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange.
Really?
Yeah. That's when I started stand-up, yeah.
And then you changed your name to Dove Dominguez.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's my girl.
Wait,
Always
wait.
has my back.
Time out. When did you change it?
Did you legally
First,
change
no,
it?
for stage time. I tried to change my name in high school.
Oh,
my
because you were
mother
doing a lot of
saddled me
urban
with this
rooms.
name. No,
that
I was
why?
doing one Puerto Rican room. I didn't change my name full time.
You just changed it for one room.
Yes,
You were the
on
original
Tuesdays.
Dove the
Every
comedian.
Tuesday,
I only
his
changed my name
was
on
Dove
Tuesdays.
Dominguez.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't get stage time.
Yeah.
At this room, it was a Puerto Rican show. So I said, "All right." He goes, "It's for Puerto Ricans." I said, "So my last name's Dominguez. But just give me
Yeah.
that time." I said, yeah, that's all right. Jessica.
wait, so you
like
end
I
up-
went to the DMV.
You were trading?
What's that?
You were trading?
No, I was a clerk. I was running for a brokerage on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. So I would get a call, and I would get it to the executing broker who would fill the order. And so you can either go stay there and make a life out of that, or you can get the fuck out. And
How long
try
did you
to
stay
save
there?
my soul.
Till
A
you-
year. I was there a year. A little over that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what made you want to do stand-up?
Somebody asked me to do it. I had never thought about it. Somebody asked me to do it when I was running my mouth, and I was like, yeah, I could try it, and then that, and the experience of like doing something creative started to help me reconcile things, because I just went from that junkyard to other these aggressive alpha energy, like it was this non-reflective. It's literally just running after a profit, and then it was a natural environment for me. I was good at it and competitive in those environments. But
And there's
didn't
never a
feel
point where
good.
you can be the best at it.
No,
there's
there's
always growth.
Oh, but that's everything, I think.
You think
right?
so? Yeah. I think with trading there's like a max.
I see what
agree.
you're saying. Oh, there's never a point. Oh, right, where there's always growth with art, you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, yeah, I think with a lot of that. Like, you can do other jobs within finance, in theory, and maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it didn't, regardless of whether or not you can keep learning technically, it didn't feel like enough of a soul for me. And if I hadn't lived out some creative experience, then I think I would regret that in a big way in my
At
life.
21 to know that, though, is like I mean, you were very mature probably for your
I
age.
don't
because
know. I think I knew that there was a feeling that I wasn't getting, but I didn't know what it was. And then when I did stand up, it was like, oh, this is a language that I can use to reconcile this fucking insanity.
just get it out.
Yeah.
So when did you start thinking that you were going to get married?
I don't know. That's an excellent question. I mean, I remember first when I started thinking I couldn't get married
When was
early
that?
on. No, I remember my first girlfriend who I wanted to keep. Like, I loved her, but I couldn't figure out how to make it work, and I
The
couldn't
high school
acknowledge
one?
the
The
idea.
cute
No,
one? Oh.
no, this is a girl I met when I was 29.
So you didn't have a girlfriend until you were 29.
No,
you
I had
just
a
fucked
girlfriend in
around?
high school, but I mean,
Oh.
the marriage question didn't occur to me until later on in my life, and I wasn't able to get there
You were
psychologically.
with her for like 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
right? Yeah.
I don't know.
But-
Marriage, when I met Jess,
She
and
knew
when,
you as
when things were
Dominguez, or-
good. I thought about it. Yeah. No. That's the ironic thing. We were together for 5 years.
Only on Tuesdays.
Yeah, only Tuesday. Yeah, that's right. Once a week. Didn't know I wasn't Puerto Rican.
Until you met her family and
Yeah.
they spoke Spanish, and you're like,
Oh no, I never even spoke English to her. She until today, she doesn't even know I speak English well.
Lo siento.
Quite the double life. Yeah.
Did she ask you for like what was going to happen in the relationship?
Were you living together?
Where-
Yeah, she wanted to get married. Yeah, we were living together. It was a heartbreaking thing, because she was a great girl, and I wasn't mature enough to do it at that point. And also, like, it was starting to get stage time. Like, for a guy 29 years old, in certain walks of life can be a decent age to do that. For me, in some ways, I was still pretty young.
But you were here?
Yeah,
In New York?
City,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way.
But then you moved to LA with her, right?
Yeah, but still on that hunt and doing a thing and out every night in clubs. Like, it was not an ideal
I think
situation.
moving to LA would make it worse. Because
Yeah,
then
LA
it's even
didn't help.
more exciting.
LA did not help. Yeah.
Yep. All new people, new options.
No.
Yep.
What made you go to LA?
I was doing a TV show. Rain, so I was booked a series out there. I was playing a cop once again. Shocker.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing that I don't get Kaz as much like sort of English, more
Like a
upper
professor or
crusty.
something?
Yeah. Your roles where I can really dig my teeth into, like a transvestite or an English, sort of a physics professor in a wheelchair, that kind of stuff.
Something very method. I could see you getting into a role.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
playing Einstein.
Yeah, or maybe a homo. One of them homos. What's that, Jessica?
I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so your first girlfriend, you decided that you did not want to get married, and then
Yeah.
fast forward, your date.
Oh, fast forward. As I was getting older and experiencing, like
Did
what
you
it
have
was
other
like to be
girlfriends past her?
single. Yeah, I always had someone around. Not like full on relationships. I've only had like 5 of them, four or 5. Yeah, it was high school, then Shannon, then Rox, Holly. Holly, Rox, and then you. Was it after you?
No, who was,
Jen, I was seeing Amanda's
Emily.
cousin for a bit. Oh, and Emily.
Yeah, Emily.
Yeah, so about 5, 6 girlfriends.
It's about 12 million sperm.
No. Whoa, easy, Andrew.
I'm doing the math. That's about 12
I
million.
produce 8 million per load. So, I mean, a normal person produces 20 million per load.
Yeah, you're at 8. That's the 12.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the difference. I don't know. It's just a little G
Yeah.
math.
No, it's yeah, but I don't know. I thought I'd like to do this. I didn't know if I could. Certainly, my parents. I had never had any model for it. And I thought, I don't know. I just felt like I wasn't into being single at that point in my life. For a lot of different reasons.
Were you seeing a shrink at all at those moments? Or like when did you start
points.
working on yourself and then did that
At points
end up?
early on, I remember, when I was thrown out of high school, and before that, we went to see this family therapist because we clearly had problems.
I think, didn't your mom make you guys go see a
Yeah,
therapist?
yeah, we went to see a therapist, for a little while, but I didn't see in therapy for long, and so I don't know, that kind of.
When did you start therapy later on in life or like start working on yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I've been going off and on for years now. In California, I went for
I
a
think
full
it
year and a
was-
half, and then here for over a year, and now we've been seeing this guy for 6 months. It's like
Do you
Been
two
off
go
and on for
on your
years.
own as well?
no,
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
We used to.
yeah.
I used to be in therapy full time.
I know. You used to go.
6 days a week, yo.
6 days a week?
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Was it really?
It was Monday through Friday, group therapy, 9 to 5. Every Saturday, I saw my therapist individually.
Wow, that's
For
a
an
lot.
hour.
God, they must have been so annoyed with you.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
She can be a handful. Yes. That's an
six-
astute observation.
6 months.
This gal's a handful.
Said 8 words the whole week. No, yes, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just started 2 weeks ago for the first time. And so it's like.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
You're going to learn a lot about
I'm
yourself.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went once when I was like 12.
Yeah.
One time after my
Yeah.
parents got divorced, or 13.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. And when I went to a psychiatrist, whatever, I'm trying to like really do it. It's
No,
like
but
one
it's-
thing. Like I would
He's
quit
on
drinking.
Lexapro now.
Exploration. Yeah. I mean, you just don't want to get on stuff too quickly that will sort of gloss over what the underlying thing was, right? So all those meds and stuff are fine, provided that we've kind of earned the diagnosis, as I understand it from these doctors, Because if somebody goes, I feel depressed, well, there may be a reason for that depression. You don't want to just go and medicate initially, or in some cases you might. But
Well, it was 2 hours. I talked to him. So
oh, okay, good. Well, clearly, I mean, if anybody needed it, it's you. No, but yeah.
yeah, no, I don't know. It's been good. I would quit drinking, and I would think that would be enough. You know what I mean? I'd be like, I'm not drinking for 6 months.
Right, that's a Band-Aid, right? Because
Yeah.
if we're drinking a lot, we're drinking to fill something. And so unless we get the thing underneath it, it's why when people go to jail, they get clean. Even if they're in jail for 2 years, they'll come back out and pick right back up because psychologically they haven't filled the holes. We never fill them, but when we're aware of them, we can diminish the reactive components to the degree that we can settle in a bit and not lead totally chaotic shit.
Right, like you wouldn't drink coffee so you could manage your heart rate
There
and
you
manage
go.
your panic
There
attack.
you go.
Yeah.
Really getting at all the underneath stuff. There he is.
What I would
I'm
do.
thinking cut down on carbs to deal with all of my erratic relationship issues.
What I would do is a light roast.
There you go. That's the problem. It was that fucking dark roast that was jamming you
I
up.
believe
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah, Doc, I'm not moving in the direction I want to move in. Right? Should I cut to a lighter roast?
The sad part is it really does fuck me up. Coffee. It's really weird.
No, it
Well, like
can.
impulsive behavior comes from like anxiety, and if you keep that
Sure,
limited, then you won't do as much dumb shit.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
but you'll still deal with a lot of it if you don't get at the underlying components of the anxiety. I know for me, I had huge vulnerability issues. I couldn't ask people for things. Like I really fucking
I still have trouble doing that.
I think
Yeah, well, a lot of us
Are you
do.
able to do it now?
Yes, to more. But I mean, when I said vulnerability stuff, like I couldn't see certain behaviors. Like if I had a problem with Jess, I would globalize, meaning like in my environment, if I didn't assert myself immediately, somebody would take advantage of me. And what happens is you end up overcompensating. When you leave prison, you can't continue to treat the world like you're going to get shanked over there because you're going to react to things like it's a feral response to the world. And it doesn't work. It's not a nuanced understanding of the actual situation as much as an emotionally reactive scenario. And that doesn't work for relationships or decision making.
To always be in survival mode.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
life
Frozen.
or death. Like everything's life or death.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. So when
Black
did you
or
guys
white.
know? When did you know that she was your lobster?
Oof.
When she gave you crabs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When was she my lobster? I don't know. We're still working to make that a reality, you know? It's like we love each other, but it's not easy,
No.
right? I mean,
I
trying
feel
to...
like I've seen your relationship evolve over the last, what,
I
6
think
well,
it's
it's
years,
much
7
less
years?
I
reactive.
think it's more difficult for him than it is me.
It's much less reactive, our
The
relationship,
whole
because...
relationship thing.
I mean, it used to be really, Jessica would do some weird shit that no one saw, and then I would react to that weird shit, and then I would end up losing control over a period of time, but it was pretty intense.
Do you feel
Yeah.
like that's a norm for you and you miss
No.
the intensity?
No, I never had women that did with that intense. Her alcoholic upbringing was really intense.
I was quite borderline for a while, which is why I was in therapy for so long.
And if you've never experienced borderline, if you've ever been around somebody who does a push-pull, they'll shove you away violently, and they'll be like, hey, where are you going? What's going on? It feels like someone's fucking with your mind. It's really intense.
So also you weren't in therapy and you weren't doing the work
And also,
at the
I
time.
wasn't.
So
Exactly.
it was like really
so it
just
would be
horrible
Totally.
timing.
Yeah, it was just adding
But you guys always
fuel.
knew that you were each other's little penguins. I feel like you guys
You
have
keep
always
going
had a
with
very
animals
strange.
here.
There's
We've had an intense connection.
yes.
Yeah, she's my lobster penguin. I think that's an excellent way to explain our relationship. She's my little,
You're gophers.
she's my rainforest bird, no doubt about that. She's my turtle.
You're parakeet.
Lobsters and penguins
They
made
do.
for
They
life.
made for life. That's right.
Oh, and
Dicks.
turtles, maybe? Do turtles do that?
No.
Yeah,
No.
they feel like they would, but
Well,
maybe
turtles
they don't.
live to be like 160.
The giant tortoise, they don't even know how long they'll go.
Yeah,
'cause
they'll go
nobody's been
forever.
alive for that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You just got to do nothing, right? Lobsters don't do much. You just got to sit around. You'll live forever. We do
Yeah.
too much shit.
That's right. That's right. But
Yeah.
because of
Deep,
how
guys.
we're built. Yeah.
Deep.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Wait 1 second. Are we not?
Yeah.
If we just sit there.
Yeah, that's right. Will we live forever the less we move?
If you eat right,
Yeah.
eat the same thing
Light roast.
every day.
Like a
just a
turtle.
little,
Light
yeah,
roast.
just a little
Light
plant,
roast.
a light roast
Yeah.
and a plant.
Yeah, just water. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well,
What do you think with your? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no. I wanted. When did you find out when you were going to be your lobster
Jeez,
penguins?
pressing.
I know. Well, you guys
it's an
broke
excellent
up.
question.
You guys broke up
It's an
a few
excellent
times.
question.
Well, we broke up one time, like actually broke
Yeah,
up
for full on.
for a full year and a
year,
bit.
yeah.
Yes.
When Jessica done, it was gradual, right? So I loved her, and I
He
feel
proposed
like she
to me
loved
after
me.
2 weeks.
Well, yeah, but part of that was an exercise. I had never been in a full-on
exercise.
scenario, and I thought to myself, no, I really thought if I can communicate that level of commitment, and then like it's not like you can't get out of an engagement. And I thought I really would like to be able to do this, and she was.
So you risked someone else's emotions.
No,
for
not
a
at
practice?
all. I loved
Okay.
her.
Okay.
I mean, when I say practice, I don't mean practice like it was like something superficial or a lie. I mean, I wanted to commit. It's almost like joining the army to create better discipline. Like,
Yes.
it's like I said,
follow
fuck it.
through.
I could do this with
Yeah.
this person. And let's try it. And then, but yes, it was impulsive and extremely impulsive. And of course, it didn't work.
And then you tried to make it work.
And then we tried to make it work. But it didn't work because neither one of us were healthy enough, especially her. And so,
Oh, please.
Shrimp cock. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All, exactly. All passive aggressive. Dove's a fag.
So wait, you guys broke off the first engagement.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Did you get the
Yeah.
ring back?
Yes.
Did you take it back or did you give it back?
I took it back. I didn't feel like it had been earned. We weren't there long enough, and I felt she was exhibiting behavior that was really batty, and I reacted strongly and took away the ring. And it could be argued that that wasn't okay, but I don't know.
No, I had to give back my rings.
Yeah.
When
I don't know that I would
marry
want
them.
to keep an engagement ring from somebody
Well, I
that
sold
it
them.
wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could sell them. And also, it depends how long you're in it and what you earn from each other. And I don't know. I guess it's an individual kind of experience.
Yeah.
So then you guys both bettered yourself. You felt like being separated for that year.
Yeah, I had to get honest
So-
with myself. Like, I read a lot of her behaviors. Like, she had some severe shit growing up. And so she would walk in the house and barely acknowledge that I'm there. It was pretty intense. And she would just sort of approach me like an object. And so there was no sort of registering of an emotionality on her face. It was like, you ever watch a dog look at a robot? Then she would just sort of pass me by and acknowledge, like,
Yeah.
and for me, instead of going, hey, there's a problem here. Let's communicate about this. I feel like you love me, but I don't feel loved. Like, I would blow up. I had to immediately assert myself and say, hey, what the fuck? You can't just walk by me and not acknowledge me as a person. Like, it was too much. It was
Which
too
made
much.
her
I'm no
further
longer
go
in-
into herself.
Which
And,
made
yeah.
her go further
Yeah.
away. And we're no longer in a junkyard. I don't need to behave like that.
Right. You don't have to
Right.
have those
I
guard
feel
dogs.
like your inability to sort of sit on your
Totally.
emotions, and
Totally.
your reaction would
Yeah.
further, back me up into
Totally.
my
Totally.
regressing.
So I lived with Jessica for the year and a half, and I
Yeah.
heard about you for that entire time.
Yeah, I can only imagine what you heard.
Were you also communicating with your friends about Jessica, like wondering what she was doing? Where she
Not
like were you
like that.
like girl
And
talk?
My experience is that Jessica's now able to share two sides of a story. When I met Jess, she would explain a situation, and then I'd encounter the other person in that situation, and it didn't look like Jessica's explanation. So, I mean, there were all kinds of communication stuff. Everything was tweaked, It's like when you have an accident in the car and the frame gets jiggered, you don't know why it's like I don't know, but we definitely contributed toward each other's issues. And then we started to get healthier. And then we said, okay, like if she's not exhibiting really self-destructive stuff, and then I'm not doing that and like running out to the club and staying out till the middle of the night because we got in an argument, I have to, and that's when we felt adult enough to go, we can pull off the marriage thing. But we're still working for that decision.
Yeah.
We just left therapy.
My favorite part of you guys getting back together when we all sat down at a coffee shop and we were chatting about it, and you guys were like, "We're gonna take this slow.
Yeah.
We're gonna take it very
Yeah.
slow."
She moved in.
We moved in
A week later. Yeah.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
this seems slow.
Yeah, very slow. Nice and easy. We took it real smooth. Yep. Yeah, no, listen. I mean, I cop to that in life. Like, I'm a little codependent, and I don't want somebody who isn't a little codependent. I don't need somebody who's super individualistic and like, I have my sad parts that will never get unsad, and I need somebody who's a little pathetic. No, because I'm a little pathetic, but
Yeah.
pathetic in the way like everybody has
Pathetic,
their
yeah.
little pieces. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, I have something about that's sad and a little bit insecure, and that's okay,
But I don't. I mean,
yeah, in some ways, our broken plates work.
Yeah, in some ways,
Yeah.
yeah. We have
In
a
some
thing
ways
that
not.
draws us in, and we also have shit that we still work on.
I get that. But you're a tremendous human being, and you've got
Well,
your
it
shit
depends how you
together.
define tremendous.
And,
I have aspects of my shit together, and we're all trying to put it. I don't know.
well, Andrew and I talk about this all the time because I always go after guys that are like alcoholic dudes, and he's like,
Yeah.
you have to stop. You have to just be okay with yourself first, and then you have to
Right.
value yourself. So I think maybe we all have to do that exercise.
Also, you'd stop calling me more if you just liked yourself more.
Well, I wonder how much of it is a kind of a self-love, and how much of it is just knowing to I think I wrote something about trying to get healthy enough to be able to identify people that seem to be healthy, because a lot of us can't really identify what it looks like, and we're drawn to things that are inevitably going to be not right.
Do you mean as far as like surrounding yourself with those people? Because I don't mind
No.
surrounding myself with people that are
No,
unhealthy.
I don't mean surrounding. I don't mind chaotic
mean
environments. I like
romantically?
whacked out people
Oh, you mean
and comedians and all. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, the people we get involved with. I started to go, when I thought about having a kid, it immediately went, oh, I need somebody who just has to agree about certain core fundamental values. Otherwise, we're going to get jammed up.
Like such as religion, education.
Yeah, we're both Hasidic Jews. You know that, right?
I actually don't think we've ever really talked religion. We've never had.
No, but that's not one of our core things.
No.
But the idea that if I'm involved with a woman that doesn't want a kid or doesn't want to work for some sort of trajectory like that to have a kid or isn't willing to be in therapy, it's like it's probably not going to work. Like there's certain boundaries we start to get through, right? Like if somebody's going to drink all night on a night where I got to get up early in the morning and I don't know what's going on and my home feels chaotic, it diminishes my ability to do certain things.
Right.
And I can't live with somebody like that. But early on, I could. Chaos was not a deterrent for me. And then when I learned it was, that's when things start to shape up.
Okay, but early on you were living, are you talking about like when you lived with your parents and such? Because you aren't providing for your parents, you're providing for Jessica and your mate.
Well, yeah, no, I mean,
you
the
could live
chaotic
with-
stuff was like chaos became a deterrent when I started to learn that I grew up in chaos. If you grow up in chaos and nobody goes, hey, listen, it's like when you hear a stripper sort of talking about why do I always hook up with guys that hit me? Well, you're dating your coke dealer. Now, not all coke dealers are bad, probably, but you're going to engender a degree of chaos. And if you keep going for guys that wear tight tank tops, driving drop top Camaros, likelihood is you're going to have the same fucking experience again. That's all. Just breaking cycles. But cycles are hard to break.
They are.
I mean, with Marta, I feel like how you feel about yourself, you put too much weight on how the person responds to you. And how, like, he responded to my text like that, and you're so worried about the text and shit, and it's like, who gives a fuck? Like, that's not, whatever he does isn't.
Because I don't want anyone to feel bad either. Like, I don't want to. I like to be polite.
But
at all
all
times.
these things are okay. It's just about the degree to which it's taking place and how it manifests in our life.
Oh, yeah, I
So we could
OCD
not
it.
want somebody to feel bad. But if you're not looking out for yourself enough and then asserting that boundary, then you'll suffer emotionally or whatever, psychologically. So it's just about doing it enough.
I send every text to Jessica. Every
But your
group
niceness, you
message.
never want to lose that. It's wonderful about you. It's just about not stopping it at where you begin to be taken advantage of by a guy. It's about stopping at the right place. And those are all hard to do.
Yeah, it's hard to set a boundary.
Hard, man. It's hard.
Do you set boundaries, Jessica?
I do now, but this is a new thing for me. I'd say within the last year, I learned how to set boundaries and
So if
assert.
Amelia, we had this horrendous roommate who took
Yeah.
serious advantage of Jessica.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Serious.
Yeah.
If Amelia was like, I'm coming into town for 2 weeks to 3 months, can I crash on your couch?
I've already had that with her.
What? Yeah. What did you say?
No.
Oh my God, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, Jessica. I mean, it's hard when you grow up in chaos and you have fucked up situation or you don't feel great about yourself. I mean, I don't know what boundaries I had. I think my boundaries,
I think I just wanted, like you, I just wanted to be liked by everyone
Yes.
at all times. And now I've sort of gotten over that.
Me too. I feel that.
I'm like, I'm a good person and I try to do what I can. And if you don't like me, then tough pahooties.
The pahooties is an expression that I've never heard in my entire life.
that a word? Is it
No,
a
of course
word?
not. No, it's not. No, it's not a word. That was
What
a
was she
great
thinking?
expression that she
Cahoots?
just wholesale made up.
Pahooties.
There's no.
It sounds like a nice restaurant that'll sell hot dogs, right? Come down to Pahooties.
It does not sound like hot dogs to me. It sounds like something you need a shot for.
Wait, isn't that a saying?
Oh, it's like cooties.
Tough pahooties?
No, it's not a saying.
Well, you got a new bit.
Tough pahooties.
That could
She
go
thinks
with
it's a real saying.
That could go with your light tower
is it?
bit.
Yeah,
then?
Lifehouse.
Like,
Lifehouse.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What is the saying? That sounds like
She said to me, what did she
Tough.
say? She goes. One time she'll confuse you. She'll no skin off my teeth or something, or I mean she'll mix them all up.
the Pop Tart, you say pop.
pop stand.
Pop
Let's
Tart
blow this
stand.
pop
Let's
stand.
No, that's a real expression. Pop stand was an
popsicle
actual
stand.
soda stand. Pop is soda, and there was like a soda
Pop.
shop.
Pop.
Yeah, but that's a real expression, pop stand.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mara said it's
Popsicle.
popsicle.
Let's blow this popsicle stand.
I think you can
Maybe you're
Google it.
wrong, Mara.
Wow.
No, because I don't think there's such thing as a popsicle stand where there is a pop, as in soda, stand, like a place that
Google,
sold soda,
Miles?
pharmacy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's it called? Where words come from? What's the word for that? It's
Pop.
no, like the genesis of words, where they come from, like in language, like or expressions. Where do they come from?
Linguistic.
Huh?
There's there's a specific term. It's like 4 syllables, and it's where words come from.
Jessica?
Don't look at me.
Pahooties.
Pahootieville. They come from Pahootieville. That's right.
Pahootieville.
Yeah, there you go. 4. Pahootieville. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bodega man. 4.
Yeah. Bodega boy.
Bodega boy.
Oh, everybody's Googling.
I'm Googling origin.
Oh.
Origin.
Were your parents divorced, Jessica?
Yeah.
They were?
Yeah.
At what age?
My parents' divorce lasted 6 years. Like it
Wow.
they split up, and then the divorce was so awful.
How old
that
were
it
you?
took 6 years to process. I think I was 12 when they decided to.
Etymology.
Yes.
That's the word. Etymology.
Edamame.
Yeah, where they come from. Go ahead. Sorry, Jessica.
No, that's it.
You had a rough
I had a rough go.
go. I
Oh,
mean,
that's
at one
like-
point you had a
that means-
toothless Indian living with you.
Yeah, Ren.
That
Wow, just
also
named him.
sold drugs, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
As they all do, Mo. It's understood that he was a toothless Indian that sold drugs.
Wait, like a Navajo or like a?
That's like saying a beaver that chips wood. We get it.
Wait, what
You
kind
don't
of
have to drive that point home.
What kind of Indian? Like
Yeah, they're good.
oh, don't worry about that.
My
What?
hometown is near a reserve.
Oh,
Yeah.
She mean a reservation?
Yeah. What? Isn't that
Like a nature reserve.
No. Oh, a reservation. Yeah.
Pahooties could be an Indian word. Now that I
what
think
it is.
about it.
It could have been a word I learned from Ren. It's true.
No, that's your Navajo terminology, sure.
So wait,
Etymology, Navajo.
Did you have men in and out of your life as far as your mother's boyfriend's situation? Or was it just a toothless Indian?
wait, who was the toothless Indian?
Ren.
I
He
know.
had coke.
Yeah. No,
Oh.
this was when my mom was still an addict. Like she was still using.
Okay, and you were
So-
living with your mother.
Yeah. At the time, I was living with her.
And
in
where was your dad?
He was in the same hometown, but just in a different home.
Was he an addict as well?
He's not. It's how do you explain my father? He's like a functioning.
I don't know how much you want to get into on a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is,
I'm like, I don't know.
You know?
I don't know how I would explain that.
And with my mother, we talk about everything. With some of your people, it's still you want to be sensitive to that.
That's true. They're not as much of an open book. as
Yeah,
the
you just
crew.
want to, it's. I mean, it's okay. I mean, they probably won't. But
Listen.
you just be careful. That could come back to bite you.
In the Bahootie.
in the booty. Callbacks. She's learning callbacks.
Not only she's using learning callbacks. She's altered the definition of the word Pahootie to mean anything she wants.
It's like
It's like
fuck.
kafif.
Yeah.
It's like what?
Kafif. Remember when Trump said kafif?
Yeah,
Everybody
but it's not like that.
Okay.
Oh,
All
right.
Etymology. All right.
Etymology.
Yeah,
Etymology.
etymology. It's fascinating where words come from. It's very psychological. All those different things that go on, like don't look a gift horse in the mouth and all that. You think about people really. Somebody got a gift 300 years ago, and instead of saying thank you, they opened the lips of the horse, and they said, "You're gonna give me a horse like this? Look at that mouth. Look at that fucking mouth." They said they thought this.
And what horse has a nice mouth? You know?
Well, you can tell how old the horse is. So back then, when you open the horse, don't look at a gift horse in the mouth. It means you gave me a gift. I'm not going to now determine whether or not it's good enough for me to take your gift. It's like, if you give me a car, I don't go, how many miles you got on the car? That's what it's saying. It's a mileage thing.
You don't look at the engine.
Yeah, no, any part of the car. You just say thank you for the
Just thank you
car.
for the
And then
car.
when you leave, I look around. Like,
Yeah, but I feel like no one is taught to just say thank you for the gift anymore. And maybe even back then. But no, I gave a gift recently and I didn't receive like a thank you, like a letter or anything. And I was like, do you say thank you? Did you get it?
That's
Yes.
very
It was
weird.
very
She sent two
expensive.
chairs, two heated. They went
Badass tailgating
to a, they went to a
chairs.
football
Yeah.
game together. She was
Yeah.
smart, like kind enough to get
Yeah.
2 tailgating chairs.
So you think it was just a lack of conscientiousness about the effort that you made and the gift they received?
Well, he did a very nice thing. I was pampered the entire. I didn't lift a finger. He brought me to a game.
And he never thanked you for the chairs.
And I sent. And I texted him. And I said, "Is it safe to send a gift there?"
Yes.
And then he was like, "Well, kind of. I have a camera." And I was like, "Ooh, I already sent them. So I put insurance on them. And then I saw that they were delivered. And he
Did you text him to ask if they were delivered?
I
If he
did
got
like
them?
5 days later. I was
Did he
like,
get 'em?
"Hey," and he goes, "Babe, you never have to send me a gift." I was like, "That doesn't even answer the question. Did you
Oh, so
get the
he-
fucking
he didn't-
chairs?"
He didn't write thank you?
No, never.
Well, that's bad form.
That's weird.
right?
Yeah,
Did he
that's
get the
bad form.
chairs?
He's never confirmed that he received the chairs.
Well, ask. Why wouldn't you ask?
Send me a goddamn text.
No, I
Well,
would
he
just.
listens to the
I would send a text saying, "Did you get the chairs?"
I
Dot, motherfucker.
I did say that.
No, just did you get the chairs? He didn't give you an answer?
No.
What did he say?
He said, were people mean? I was like, so, haha, did you get them? And he was like, were people mean to you growing up? And I was like, yeah, sort of. Did you, ha, what's
I would
going
ask
on?
again, did you get the chairs? Okay, yes, they were mean. Did you get the goddamn
Yeah.
chair? I'm asking you.
Yeah, why is he putting that? That's
See,
I
but
don't
that's,
know. The
That's
whole
one of
thing
Mari's
was-
boundaries. She didn't want to assert herself in that manner.
Yes.
And now for the rest of her life, she's going to wonder
I'm
whether or not
just
the chairs
gonna
landed.
And then when you find out, that's the other thing like I've learned is like you try to get the validation, and then when you get it, it doesn't mean anything to you.
I don't want
Yeah.
any
Ooh,
validation.
that's scary.
And I
put-
learned that recently about myself,
That's
which is
scary.
like really like
Sure.
yeah. Like once you find out, oh, yeah, I got the chairs, thanks. Like what is that going to do for you, other than maybe the chairs is an example.
No, I think the chairs is a healthy example
Yeah,
of
healthy
asking for the.
example.
You're not asking for validation to make me feel better about myself. I just want to know that you received my gift and that
Yeah.
you appreciate it.
That's it.
That's
well,
it,
he doesn't
right.
even have to appreciate it. Just did you get it?
Yeah, but there's no debate
Did
here.
you-
I mean, that's clearly black and white. That's right and wrong. There's
Yeah, I
no
was like,
debate. It's like
what?
you say thank you and thank you for the.
And I said thank you 9
Chairs.
million times when he was there. He's like, you can stop saying thank you. I was like, what? This is what normal people do. This is what polite people do.
Yeah.
You say, oh, thank you so much for getting me a coffee. Thank you so much for this home that I get to
Yeah,
sleep
say
in for
thanks.
weeks.
Yeah, sure. No. That's how societies run. I mean, just this guy's just an aberration.
Yes. You would love him. He's a chemist. Anyway.
Well, he's got a light autism.
Yeah,
That's what the
oh,
problem
maybe
you're
that's
running
what he
into.
does have a light
you know,
autism.
so you
Maybe.
Maybe.
somebody who doesn't thank chairs, can't answer the question. You have sort of a nice connection with them, but it's not full, and there's something pieces missing. There's often a light something, a lightly removed aspect that feels cold and mathematical to a personality like that.
Maybe that's good for me.
But it doesn't right. But
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that he's not a great guy. and
Yeah, that he
certainly-
doesn't
and-
care.
And that if you ask him for something and sort of provide space for a response, maybe he can come around. It's all where you are on the spectrum. If you're far out there, it's going to be hard.
While I was there visiting, I said, I really like hand holding. And
Yeah.
he, because that way I don't have to talk. I can
Great.
just stay behind
Sure,
him.
great.
And he goes, I don't hand hold. I was like,
Now I'm interested. Now I'm intrigued.
I don't like hand holding either. But.
oh, I
but
love
no,
it.
guys don't just say it like that without qualifying it, right? If you don't like to hold hands, I'm okay with you not liking it. I might be okay with it, but you have to contextualize that.
But the way he answered, I started laughing immediately because I was like, aye,
Yes.
Well, does he like you grabbing his arm? Does he like touch?
Yeah.
Or does
yeah,
he
he
not
grabs
like
my
touch?
legs and things when we're places.
So maybe he
but
has
it's
little
just not-
hands.
He doesn't have little hands.
Maybe I'm talking about myself.
Hold my hand, Andrew.
Wait a second. Maybe I'm jerking off right now. What's going on? What are my hands doing?
Where's my dick?
Who am I? Had my parents not sang at that bar mitzvah together,
High society.
I wouldn't have been blowing a load all of this podcast today.
So true. God damn, why
Oh
did
my
they sing
God.
that song?
So now that you've had a successful marriage for 15 months, 16 months, what do you think the secret is to continuing this?
Dog style.
Dog style, not doggy?
No, dog style.
Not wearing
Papa Stan.
sweatpants around the house, babe.
That's part of it.
Not wearing what?
One
we
time
had
we had
battle.
a full
It ain't
therapy
one time.
session about how
I battled.
I need to stop wearing comfortable sweat baggy pants around the house.
Why? Because you don't find it attractive?
No, that's
She can't wear them around the house?
Once again,
No.
she didn't contextualize.
Oh.
it. Here's what I said. please, once in a while, put on something form-fitting because you dress like a hockey player all the time around the house. I never said, come on, put on lingerie. Come on, put on something uncomfortable. Never asked for lingerie. Never asked for anything. Actually, I said, once in a while, could you put on panties? I begged her. Always with the hockey gear. You would have thought somebody was shooting pucks at her the way she dressed.
From Canada.
And you see the way she'll explain it? She'll be like, no, I just wanted to wear comfortable stuff.
Yeah.
It's so not true.
Yeah.
She always wears comfortable stuff. And by the way, wearing a pair of tights once in a while around the house is perfectly comfortable. They're cotton tights. She can wear whatever up top. I'm not like, hey, make me a steak and wear one of them tongs.
Yeah.
Come on. What I asked for is perfectly reasonable.
I wear tights now.
But
And now you missed the
compromise.
hockey pants.
she used to
You missed
explain
the
things
hockey
like that
pants?
all the time. She'd make me sound like some sort of a lunatic. He said I can't wear anything comfortable. It's so not true. It's just completely false.
That's the key to marriage. No hockey pants. for
No.
me.
Well, it's just an
Sweatpants.
acknowledgement.
Sweatpants.
It's an acknowledgement that we're not just roommates, right? And to spice it up once in a while, I've never asked for anything beyond panties and a T-shirt, ever. And it's like, this is not, I'm not asking to hang upside down. Why don't you wear them special things where they attach your tits on a battery and you shock yourself?
What?
Yeah, why don't you do that?
okay?
What I asked for was reasonable. No, but yeah,
And you know what else
probably.
is reasonable? Tushy.com.
Oh,
we
yeah,
never
we
did
forgot
it.
to do
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Oh, you guys
Hit
have
it.
them too.
Oh, yeah, you have
two
bidets.
You have two
Yes.
Tushy. Yeah, that's
And what-
our sponsor.
Great.
I know.
Great.
HelloTushy.com.
I have 2 tushies.
And what
Yes,
do you
you
think?
do.
I got tushies before you guys even know what tushy was.
I know because you bought those Think underwears,
Think Sundays.
and that's the same CEO.
Does she have my tushy?
She does.
You set it up?
Yeah, she set it up on
she
2
set
toilets.
and then she set up on ours too.
Yeah.
And what about
Well, mine.
Wait, what about mine? Wait, one sec.
Yours is still in the box.
Okay, good. I mean, it's at home, and I love it.
I didn't steal your tushy.
Well,
Yeah.
No, she already had.
how do you
two.
feel about
thought
bidets,
so.
right? It's a man. People think it's not a
me-
manly thing, right? It's
I don't know where you're pushing me into with
no,
this.
no. I'm saying though, like I've heard
People
that.
think it's not a manly thing. I mean, that's the thing about banging guys. It's not just for gays, right?
It's not just for gays, right?
Yeah.
HelloTushy.com, not just for gays.
And the promo code is Happy Butthole.
There you go.
It really is.
And also Brooklinens. Make sure if you put in the order, make sure you put in Happy Never After as your promo code.
Brooklinen is a linen and sheet and pillowcase company, right?
Yes.
What else I got?
That's it.
That's it. All right, Brooklinen, BROOKLINEN.
Correct.com.
Okay. We'll get better at this.
Yes, we're
No,
gonna
it's
get.
great. It's fun the way you guys do it.
Yeah.
And the intro is great.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And thanks for being on here.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having me, guys.
Hey, man.
Wow, I feel like my voice is so resonant now.
hey now.
Where can the people find you?
Oh, God, it's a
Yeah.
big question. Website, dovedavidoff.com. Books coming out on
That's not true. It's
October 31st.
dovedavidoff.net.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is it
Dovedavidoff.net.
.net?
Yeah.
Who has .com?
.com comes as net. What's that? Who has .com? I did initially, but now it comes as net. My web guy had a reason for doing that.
Yes. Jessica, do
Wonder
you
what
want
it
us to
was.
find you on Instagram?
Nobody needs to know where I am at or what I'm up to.
I prefer we stay.
I know.
She's so much cooler
Trying to-
now. She's like lives this like secret
know.
life.
Yeah.
No one knows anything.
Yeah.
It's
pretty
very
cool.
like yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew?
Well, she's not trying to sell anything.
I know. You can find me at Andrew T. Collin on Instagram and Twitter, and buy Duff's book. It's great. I haven't read
Road
it. but
Dog.
It's fantastic. Road Dog.
Yeah, Colin Quinn called it one of the funniest and most personal
fantastic.
books. Yeah, people really like it.
I
So-
can't wait to read it.
Yeah,
I really do. I really look forward to it.
I wouldn't pitch something unless I liked it. I
I'm not
think
quick to
I earned
throw
it.
him any
I think I earned this
compliments, and
year.
it's
That's
really
my
good.
wife, everybody. Just wrapping things up.
and it comes out October.
The quote was, "I'm not quick to
31st.
throw him any compliments." That's my girl, everybody. Always having the back.
We're going to put that on our Instagram. You can find that at Happy Never After Podcast. We'll also tweet it out at HNA Pod, or you can send us an email and we will send you the link to buy the book at hnapod@gmail.com. You can always find me at Mara Merrick. Thank you guys so much for listening and for watching. Talk to you guys later.